he's kind of the guy who leads by his actions. So he's one of the best leaders I've been around, especially having a leader like that be a specialist on the team. I mean, it shows that we have a lot of leaders on the team, and we're just glad to have him here.
How does a specialist become a leader? I mean, he said some things about what he does to try to be more of one of the guys. What have you seen him do, to become a guy that puts himself in the position despite being a kicker?
I mean, he interacts a lot with us. I mean, the defense and offense. Most times you see specialists kind of in their own little world, at practice and stuff. But our specialists interact with us all the time. They're just as vocal, just cheering on as loud as we are. And I think people notice that and realize that he's not just a kicker or a specialist. He's part of this whole team. He's a good leader on the team.
Is there kind of a barrier you got to break if you are a kicker to start? Like even when it's off the field stuff and locker room stuff, to start hanging out with the guys. I mean, is there a stigma a little bit that those guys carry because they don't do the same thing?
I wouldn't think so. I mean, we're all on the team together, doing this together. So I really don't think that they need to build their way into having their vocal opinion or anything. It's kind of just, I think they just need to have confidence to go in there knowing that they're a part of the team.
Do you remember him just doing anything sort of out of the ordinary to sort of make strides and make inroads with the rest of the guys? I mean, do you remember sort of a time when he just sort of started hanging out with everybody or anything like that, or just anything?
Since I've been here, he's always been a part of just the whole team. He's always been around everybody, a social guy. So he's definitely fun to be around.
What he talked about getting involved in, he'll go in pat drill or whatever it is at the beginning of the wide receiver drill and do stuff like that and do kind of change of direction stuff. Does that make a difference? Is that something where hey, that guy's actually an athlete? He can do more than just kick the ball.
I think a lot of people seeing him having fun out there. All the specialists going out. Not just being in the corner doing their own thing, going out and being a part of the team. Maybe getting some of the drills a little bit. Just for the whole team, I think it proves to them that it's fun to be around.
Is he a better athlete than people would expect? I mean,
he's a great athlete. He definitely. If you saw him, running around doing stuff like that, you would expect him to be a kicker.
What are some examples of that?
When he's doing the pat and go with the receivers, he's got great hands. He's got good speed. And when we're doing drills, working out in the summer with Coach Hill, ladders, hurdles, changing direction, he's just as good as any of us are.
How much better is he just getting as a kicker? I mean, obviously that's not something you guys necessarily see and work on the whole time. You guys are doing stuff while he's kicking, but for what little you do see him, whether it's a drill at the end of practice or something like that, how much better have you seen him get? How much more faith do you guys have in him collectively to make the kicks when he needs to?
Yeah, I have 100% faith in him. Any kick he has. Years that I've been here, I've seen him improve every year. And, knowing that he's going to break almost every record that IU has is just incredible. And seeing him grow into the kicker he is right now, I know he's got a bright future ahead of him.
How important is special teams going to be for you, particularly this year? You've got a better defensive unit, it sounds like, and special teams in the past has been kind of a momentum-sapping thing at times.
Yeah, they emphasize special teams a lot, the coaches do, and they don't, they take special teams just as serious as offense and defense. And, being on the special teams a lot last year and the year before that, we definitely take to heart, the momentum shifts that special teams brings. So, we're excited to start back up preseason, get the special teams going as well.
With the defense in particular, we've talked about the improvements that the freshmen bring, things like that. The familiarity with the system, Kofi was saying, is also something that's kind of helped you guys and helped you guys compete. How comfortable do you feel with the defensive system at this point, and how has that grown over the last couple of years?
I feel really comfortable with it. Coach Mallory and Coach Shelby have done a great job with me, learning the whole system, learning the whole scheme, and having done it for 3 years now, I feel like I'm pretty comfortable with everything. And I feel like it's my job now is to, kind of help the younger guys and help the other guys understand it as well as I am.
Does it seem like there's more trust, more cohesion top to bottom in the defense?
Yeah, definitely. Even that came with the team camaraderie that we've had. Getting to trust one another this off season, having workouts with the Navy SEAL program, building team leadership. But I feel like the accountability and the trust that we have with one another right now is more than I've ever seen.
How do you expect that to sort of manifest just sort of on the field? You guys have had issues with the past with just guys being out of position, not being necessarily where they're supposed to be. Do you see that changing? Do you feel like this is the year where you really finally get that all together, that every gap is going to be filled and you're not going to have, as many big plays that you're giving up and stuff like that?
Yeah, I feel like, with the experience that we have a lot more experience this year. And with the freshmen coming in, they're going to add a little more depth, but, as of now, they don't understand the scheme nearly as well as the upperclassmen do. So with the upperclassmen that we have and how well they understand the scheme now. I feel like our defensive line, even in the spring, have plugged up, the gaps more than I've ever seen. And the secondary's improved so much that, it's something that I can't wait to see start playing.
How much does that kind of breed on itself to some extent, where now that you guys know the scheme pretty much top to bottom, the freshmen have someone to learn from, as opposed to when they first came in, it's just like, okay, whole new system.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, having us and the coaches talking to them, when we came in here, we were kind of just learning just off the coaches. But with them having the coaches and then maybe talking to us individually if they need to about something, it's going to help them out a lot. And then realizing that if they want to start playing their freshman year, they're going to have to build on the scheme, learn it really quickly. So it's something that they're going to need to learn pretty fast if they want to start playing. And I think that's a challenge they're going to step up to.
How good have they been at learning that kind of thing? How quick of learners have they been?
Well, I've only really been meeting with Antonio Allen and Chase personally, because they're safeties, and they've been picking up on it a lot better than I thought they were. I realize that it's a lot harder to teach a scheme to somebody that hasn't maybe it's their first year here. But it's something that once they get with Coach Mal, it's going to lighten the load for them a lot. They're going to understand it a lot better. So I'm kind of just giving them a brief overview so they have a little idea when we start camp.
Have you seen